interrupt our coverage of what's happening with the Trump indictment just for a moment here, because there's something that just has come down on the wires I want to ask you about, if that's okay, and that is a Supreme Court decision actually to revive restrictions on ghost guns. I want to kind of, I'm not, we're in the news business, so I'm getting
there,
this.
5-4.
Yeah, so this has just come down, and just kind of, I know we haven't really had a chance to really prepare for this to come down because it's breaking news, but apparently the Supreme Court agreed to freeze a lower court order that bans the government from regulating these so-called ghost guns, untraceable homemade weapons as firearms under the federal law. Let's turn back to Trump in a moment, but I want to get your quick take on this.
It's a giant victory for the progressive and the left-leaning parts of the community, such as President Joe Biden, who are looking for stronger regulations on these so-called ghost guns. Problem is that the Second Amendment is pretty clear. We can argue over whether the court interprets it properly, whether they're including all of the language or conveniently forgetting a little bit of it, and our Constitution is subject to continual interpretation by Supreme Courts over eras and eras. But what's happened with technology is now, for the first time in the last several years, people are allowed to build at home basically a downloadable, anonymous, untraceable firearm. They can make it home. It does function, and it is an ultra-hazardous instrumentality that can be used to kill someone. So the big question is, where can government step into your private life? Is it something that, as long as it doesn't leave the state, is not part of the streams of commerce? Is that a limitation? Is the government allowed to limit this at all because of the Second Amendment? A lot of arguments. This is a hot issue because of the extraordinary power and dangerousness of some of these ultra-hazardous instrumentalities, but there's clear statutory restrictions on preventing people from owning and possessing firearms. I think that this is not the end of this story. This is just one ruling on one lower court. However, it shows the conservative, stalwart Supreme Court everybody's been counting on may not be as strong as everybody thought.
Yeah, appreciate your perspective on all that. Okay, let's